The church doors were already closing when the boy ran down the aisle, his small shoes echoing like thunder against the polished floor, his face pale under the bright daytime light pouring through the stained glass windows. Guests turned, confused and irritated, but the groom froze as if struck by lightning. The boy's voice never formed words, yet his trembling hands lifted a worn envelope high in the air, and in that silent second, everything beautiful and planned for this wedding collapsed into something terrifying and uncertain. Before the story continues, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Grandma's Book if you believe in kindness, truth, and second chances. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Ethan Hale had rebuilt his life brick by brick after losing his wife to illness 7 years earlier, raising his son Lucas alone through long workdays and quiet nights. He learned how to braid hair for school events, how to pack lunches with little notes inside, and how to hide his grief so his child could grow without fear. When he met Vanessa Crowley, it felt like a sunrise after years of darkness. She was calm, polished, always smiling in public, and seemed to bring stability to their small family. Lucas never fully warmed to her, but Ethan told himself it was just a boy afraid of change. Over time, Vanessa helped plan the wedding, choosing the daytime ceremony, the bright flowers, and the promise of a fresh beginning. Ethan believed happiness had finally chosen him back. Lucas, however, carried a weight far too heavy for his 11 years. He had overheard things no child should, noticed strange phone calls, and seen the way Vanessa's smile disappeared when she thought no one was watching. The envelope he now held contained documents he barely understood when he first found them hidden in a storage box, papers stamped and signed, photographs of places he recognized, and names that didn't belong to fairy tales. He tried to tell his father before, but fear and timing always failed him. The wedding day arrived, and with it, his last chance. As Lucas reached the front, the room filled with murmurs and uneasy stares. Sunlight streamed down on white flowers and silk dresses, but the boy's eyes were locked only on his father. His arms shook as he dropped the envelope at Ethan's feet. Ethan bent down, confused and embarrassed, but when he opened it, the color drained from his face. The pages spoke of past charges under a different name, restraining orders, and an open investigation in another state connected to financial exploitation of grieving families. Vanessa's smile finally cracked, just for a moment, but long enough for Ethan to see the truth he had ignored. Time slowed. Ethan's heart pounded as memories replayed in his mind, moments that now made sense in painful clarity. The sudden interest in his finances, the secrecy, the way Vanessa isolated him from old friends. His hands trembled as he stood upright again, his eyes no longer those of a groom, but of a father who realized his child had been protecting him all along. Without raising his voice or causing a scene, Ethan stepped away from the altar and moved toward the aisle, phone already in his hand. Within seconds, he contacted emergency services, explaining calmly that he believed a serious crime was about to occur. The church, moments ago filled with celebration, now buzzed with shock and fear. Authorities arrived quickly, their presence heavy in the bright room. Vanessa attempted to maintain her composure, but facts have a way of stripping masks clean. As officers reviewed the documents and escorted her away, Lucas stood frozen, unsure whether he had done something brave or unforgivable. The guests watched in stunned silence as the woman in white was led out. The wedding officially ended by truth instead of vows. Outside, under the clear daytime sky, Ethan knelt in front of his son, his own eyes filled with tears he no longer tried to hide. He pulled Lucas into a tight embrace, holding him as if the world had almost taken him away. In that moment, Ethan understood the depth of love that had lived quietly in his child's heart, a love strong enough to risk everything to save him. The pain of betrayal still burned, but gratitude burned brighter. Life did not magically become easy after that day. Investigations continued, finances had to be untangled, and trust had to be rebuilt from the ground up. Yet something powerful had shifted. Ethan became more present, more attentive, and more honest with his son. Lucas learned that courage does not always roar, sometimes it whispers through shaking hands and silent tears. Together, they turned a near tragedy into a bond unbreakable by fear or deception. The story of the stopped wedding spread quietly among those who attended, not as gossip, but as a reminder that love is not measured by ceremonies, but by sacrifice. Lucas returned to school a little older in spirit, while Ethan returned to work with a deeper purpose. Day by day, they rebuilt a peaceful life grounded in truth.